Have you noticed that thinking never makes life easier? The more you think about a problem, the heavier it becomes. The more you analyze your relationships, the more unstable they feel. The more you plan for happiness, the further it drifts away. Animals don't do this. A dog doesn't stare at a spinning fan at 3 a.m. wide awake for no reason. A bird doesn't wake up exhausted from thoughts it never had. A cat doesn't lie still, heart racing, replaying a normal day like it was a crime scene. A cow doesn't feel heavy for no visible reason. Humans do. We lie awake in rooms that are silent and safe, staring at nothing. Our bodies are tired, but our minds won't shut up. Nothing is happening, and yet everything hurts. Animals sleep when the day is over. Humans stay awake, interrogated by their own thoughts. But you do. You replay conversations from 3 years ago, rewriting your responses, feeling the embarrassment fresh. You rehearse arguments that will never happen, preparing rebuttals for conflicts that exist only in your mind. You feel guilt for things no one else remembers, words you said, opportunities you missed, moments you can never reclaim. You worry about disasters that will probably never occur. You imagine worst-case scenarios in vivid detail. You catastrophize outcomes that have a 1% chance of happening and treat them as inevitable. The problem isn't that life is hard. The problem is that you're aware of it. Somewhere in our evolutionary history, something broke. A mutation occurred in the primate brain, an expansion of the prefrontal cortex, a deepening of neural pathways, a strengthening of connections between memory centers and emotional processing, and suddenly a creature stopped simply living and started watching itself live. This was the birth of consciousness, and with it came a new form of suffering that no other species experiences. An animal feels pain once. It reacts, it survives, it moves on. Pain is immediate. It exists in the body, in the moment, and then it dissolves into nothing. The nervous system resets, the threat passes, life continues. But a human? A human feels pain once, then again in memory, and again in anticipation, and again in dreams, and again in random triggers decades later. A deer escapes a predator and forgets within the hour. Its heart rate returns to normal, it grazes, it sleeps. The event leaves no psychological scar. A human escapes danger and replays it for decades, in therapy sessions, in nightmares that jolt them awake at 4 a.m., in the way they flinch shadows, in the way they avoid certain streets, certain sounds, certain smells that remind them of that single moment. You stub your toe, the pain lasts seconds, the tissue heals in days, but you remember embarrassing yourself in front of strangers for years, maybe forever. The physical pain fades, the psychological pain compounds, accumulates, builds upon itself, until a single moment of humiliation becomes a defining memory. Consciousness didn't just give us awareness, it gave us the ability to suffer across time, to carry wounds that the body has already healed, to fear threats that haven't happened yet and may never happen, to regret choices that can never be changed, replaying them endlessly as if repetition might somehow alter the past. We don't live in the present anymore. We live in a simulation built from fragments of past pain and projected fear. We carry every wound forward, every failure, every rejection. We rehearse every future disaster with the same vivid detail we apply to memories. The moment humans became aware, suffering stopped being an event, it became a condition, a permanent state we carry behind our eyes, invisible to everyone else, inescapable to ourselves. Before consciousness, there was only now, a lion hunting in the present moment, a bird singing without concern for tomorrow, pure presence, existence without narrative, without story, without the burden of temporal awareness. But the moment awareness emerged, time split into 3 weapons: past, future, and the impossibly thin edge we call the present. The past became regret, every mistake preserved in perfect detail, stored in neural networks that can replay them with cinematographic clarity, every humiliation available for instant recall. The brain doesn't just remember, it punishes you with memory, forcing you to relive your worst moments as if they're happening now. You said the wrong thing at a party 8 years ago. Everyone else forgot within minutes. They moved on to the next conversation, the next drink, the next party. But you've replayed it hundreds of times. You've imagined what you should have said. You've rewritten the scene in your mind, crafting perfect responses that will never be delivered. You felt the shame fresh over and over as if it's still happening. The future became anxiety. Not the future as it will actually be, but as you imagine it could be. A mental simulation of disaster running constantly in the background, draining energy from the only moment that actually exists. You rehearse job interviews that haven't been scheduled. You imagine yourself fumbling, freezing, saying something stupid. You catastrophize medical results before you get them, convincing yourself of the worst diagnosis. You imagine your loved ones dying in car accidents every time they leave the house, mentally preparing for grief that may never come. Your brain runs simulations of failure on repeat. What if you lose your job? What if they leave you? What if you get sick? What if you're not enough? The future becomes a theater of suffering that hasn't happened yet. And the present? The present became the rarest state of all, a fleeting accident between rumination and worry, so brief you barely notice it before your mind pulls you back into past regrets or future fears. How often are you actually here? How often are you tasting your food instead of scrolling through your phone? How often are you listening to someone instead of planning your response? How often are you experiencing the moment instead of documenting it for people who aren't there? This is why meditation exists. This is why every spiritual tradition obsesses over the present moment, because consciousness makes it nearly impossible to stay there. Your brain has evolved to do three things exceptionally well: remember threats from the past, predict danger in the future, and fear death constantly. These are survival mechanisms. Your ancestors who constantly scanned for threats, who remembered every close call, who anticipated danger around every corner, they survived. They passed on their genes. Their anxiety saved their lives. But these mechanisms came at a cost. The cost is peace. The cost is the ability to simply exist without constantly evaluating, judging, preparing, defending. Once you understand this, happiness becomes impossible to define. Is it a state? A moment? A chemical reaction in your brain? Or just the brief absence of suffering, the temporary relief from the weight of consciousness? Here's the truth no one wants to hear. You were not designed to be happy. Evolution has one goal: survival. Not peace, not fulfillment, not contentment, not joy. Just survival long enough to reproduce and pass on genes to the next generation. And to achieve that singular goal, evolution gave you psychological tools that guarantee dissatisfaction, that make lasting peace nearly impossible. Anxiety? A survival advantage. The anxious human scans constantly. The calm human gets eaten. Your ancestors who worried excessively about predators, food scarcity, social rejection, disease, they're the ones who made it. They saw danger coming. They prepared. They survived. The relaxed ones died comfortable. Paranoia? A survival advantage. The paranoid human assumes the worst and prepares for it. The trusting human dies surprised. Better to see danger where there is none than to miss it when it's real. False positives are inconvenient. False negatives are fatal. Dissatisfaction? The most important survival advantage of all. Because a satisfied creature stops moving, stops hunting, stops competing, stops innovating, stops reproducing. Nature could not allow that, so it didn't. Your restlessness isn't a personal flaw. Your dissatisfaction isn't a sign you're broken or ungrateful. It's a feature of consciousness, built in, inescapable. You don't see reality. You see a simplified, distorted, evolutionarily useful version designed to keep you alive long enough to reproduce. Your brain doesn't care about truth. It cares about survival. And sometimes, often, survival requires exaggeration, omission, and outright deception. This is called negativity bias. Your brain remembers bad experiences more vividly than good ones, encodes them deeper, recalls them faster. A single criticism outweighs 10 compliments. A single failure haunts you longer than a dozen successes. One person's rejection dominates your thoughts more than widespread acceptance. Why? Because in evolutionary terms, missing a positive opportunity costs you very little. You miss a chance to eat berries today, you'll find more tomorrow. But missing a threat costs you everything. You miss the rustling in the bushes that turned out to be a predator, you're dead. You miss the signs of social rejection from your tribe, you're exiled and die alone. So your ancestors who overreacted, who assumed the worst, who saw predators in every shadow, they survived. The optimists became fossils, evolutionary dead ends. This bias is still hardwired into you, operating at full strength despite the fact that you no longer live in an environment where predators hunt you. You can have a perfect day, beautiful weather, delicious food, meaningful conversation, and one rude comment from a stranger will ruin it. One person cutting you off in traffic will dominate your thoughts for hours. You can receive praise from 100 people, but the one person who ignored you will consume your mind. You'll wonder what you did wrong. You'll replay your interactions searching for mistakes. Loss hurts more than gain feels good. Pain lingers longer than pleasure lasts, and fear drowns out joy with ease. Studies show that negative events have roughly 3 to 5 times the psychological impact of positive ones. You need 3 good things to emotionally cancel out one bad thing. Your brain exaggerates danger and minimizes joy on purpose, by design, because a paranoid brain survives. A happy brain doesn't. You're walking through modern life wearing evolutionary glasses that distort everything toward the negative, and you can't take them off. You can understand the bias, you can recognize it operating, but you can't stop it, because it's not a bug in your programming, it's the core operating system. Desire is the core mechanism of consciousness. The moment you became aware of lack. I am hungry, therefore I lack food. I am lonely, therefore I lack connection. I am aging, therefore I lack time. I am mortal, therefore I lack permanence. Consciousness is the awareness of what you don't have, the perception of incompleteness, and that awareness creates desire, the drive to fill the lack, and desire creates suffering. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer spent his entire career studying this mechanism. He described existence as a pendulum swinging eternally between pain and boredom with no stable middle ground. You want something painful. The wanting itself is suffering. The gap between what you have and what you desire creates psychological tension, dissatisfaction, restlessness. You get it, boring. The achievement brings momentary relief, then nothing. The thing you wanted no longer generates feeling. You want something else, painful again. The cycle repeats infinitely. There is no endpoint, no final satisfaction, no achievement that stops the wanting, just an endless cycle of craving and disappointment. This is why nothing ever feels like enough. You get the car you wanted. For 2 weeks, it's exciting. Then it's just transportation. You notice someone with a better car and feel that familiar pang. You get the relationship you wanted. For 2 months, it's intoxicating. Then it becomes routine. The mystery evaporates. You notice their flaws. You get the body you wanted. For a moment, you're genuinely proud. Then you see someone fitter, or you realize that having abs didn't fix your confidence. The target always moves. The goalpost shifts the moment you reach it. Not because you're broken, but because desire is designed to be insatiable by evolutionary necessity. If you could truly, permanently satisfy desire, you'd stop striving. And from evolution's cold, mechanical perspective, that's death, that's genetic extinction. So the brain keeps you hungry, keeps you wanting, and calls it ambition, calls it growth. But it's suffering in disguise, suffering with good marketing. Schopenhauer believed the only escape was to reduce desire systematically, to want less, to withdraw from the competitive game of accumulation. Most people never try. The idea of wanting less feels like giving up, like failure, so they keep chasing, because the alternative, sitting with emptiness, accepting that nothing external will ever complete you, is terrifying. It means admitting that the game you've been playing has no winning condition. People desperately want to believe the universe is just, that good things happen to good people, that suffering has meaning, that pain is balanced by eventual reward. But nature doesn't operate on fairness. It doesn't operate on morality. It operates on repetition, on mechanical cause and effect, on patterns that don't care about deserving. A gazelle is eaten alive by hyenas, slowly, painfully, while still fully conscious. It didn't deserve this. It made no moral error. It was simply unlucky. A child is born with a genetic disease that guarantees suffering and early death. No moral failing, no cosmic punishment, just random genetic mutation. An earthquake kills thousands, regardless of virtue or intent. Good people crushed, bad people crushed, children crushed, all buried equally under indifferent rubble. Nature doesn't punish. Nature doesn't reward. Nature repeats the same patterns, the same cycles, the same indifferent mechanics forever. If nature were just, suffering would be rare, reserved for wrongdoing, proportional to harm caused. But it isn't. Suffering is universal, random, abundant, excessive. A good person suffers chronic illness. A cruel person thrives in perfect health. A dedicated teacher struggles financially. A fraudulent executive retires wealthy. An honest person loses everything in a random accident. A liar's deception never gets discovered. There is no cosmic balance, no hidden justice, no divine accountant tallying good and evil. There is only what happens. Rain falls, it doesn't care if it ruins your wedding or saves a drought-stricken farm. A virus spreads, it doesn't check your moral resume. A meteor hits, it doesn't evaluate worthiness. And consciousness makes you aware of this cold reality. Animals experience it, but don't question it. But you do, because consciousness gave you the ability to expect meaning where none exists. And when you realize there is none, when the illusion of cosmic justice shatters, the floor drops out. Because if suffering is random, if goodness doesn't protect you, if virtue guarantees nothing, what's the point? The answer is, there is no point, no cosmic point, only the points you create. So how do people survive this reality? They don't accept it. They build illusions, carefully constructed narratives that make existence tolerable. Religion offers meaning, the idea that suffering has divine purpose, that life is a test, that pain builds character, that death is a doorway, not an ending, that someone is watching, caring about your choices. For billions of people, this works. Progress offers hope, the narrative that tomorrow will be better than today, that technology will save us, that humanity is ascending. The entire Western world runs on this illusion. Love offers salvation, the feeling that one person can make existence bearable, can fill the void. Every romance, every marriage, every desperate swipe on a dating app, all searching for someone to make this tolerable. Work offers distraction, the ability to pour energy into tasks and avoid the silence where existential dread lives. This is why people work 60-hour weeks, why they answer emails on vacation, because when the work stops, the thoughts start. These aren't inherently false illusions, they have genuine value, but they are shields, psychological defenses against the weight of consciousness. Civilization is a machine designed to keep you from thinking too deeply. It fills your time with obligations, distractions, entertainment, keeps you busy enough that you don't notice the void underneath. And for most people, it works perfectly. They live entire lives without questioning. They follow the script: school, career, marriage, kids, retirement, death. They stay inside the game. They're not stupid, they're not weak, they've just chosen to participate in the shared illusion. Until something breaks. There comes a moment in many people's lives when the machinery fails. You achieve the goal you spent years chasing and feel nothing. The promotion, the house, the relationship, it's all exactly what you wanted. You checked every box, and it's empty. The satisfaction you imagined never arrives. You just feel the same, maybe more tired, maybe more aware that the chase itself was the only thing keeping you going. You lose someone and realize that connection was always temporary. Everyone leaves. Everyone dies. You were just pretending otherwise. You lie awake at 3 a.m. and the silence is unbearable. No distractions, no noise, just you and your thoughts. And the thoughts won't stop. What's the point? Why do any of this? Why do you feel so empty when you have everything you wanted? This is the moment when consciousness turns its full attention on you, and you see clearly. There is no inherent meaning. You made it up, or someone else made it up and you believed them. No external savior, no one is coming to fix this. No final satisfaction. Every goal will fade into normalcy. Every pleasure will diminish. Just awareness witnessing itself indefinitely until death. People call this depression, existential crisis, a breakdown. But it's actually clarity. It's the moment the brain stops lying to you, the moment the illusions fail and you see the machinery behind the curtain. And it's terrifying, not because the truth is complex, but because it's simple. Life has no inherent meaning. Consciousness creates suffering. Nature is indifferent. Desire is insatiable. Nothing external will ever complete you. Simple truths. And simple truths are the hardest to carry, because complexity offers escape. If the truth were complicated, you could spend your life figuring it out. But when the truth is simple, when you can see it completely in a single moment, there's nowhere left to hide. Most people will do anything to avoid this moment. They'll medicate it away. They'll distract it away with work, entertainment, substances. They'll numb it with anything that creates noise loud enough to drown out the silence. They'll believe harder, dive deeper into religion, spirituality, self-help, build new illusions on top of old ones. They'll call it healing, call it growth, but it's just covering the wound again, because sitting with the truth is almost unbearable. So they run, and society helps them run. But once you've seen it, you can't fully unsee it. The knowledge stays, and that knowledge changes everything. So what now? If consciousness is a trap, if desire is suffering, if meaning is illusion, what are you supposed to do? There is no universal answer, but philosophers have tried to map the territory. Nietzsche said, "Create your own meaning. Life has no inherent purpose, so impose one. Become the author of your own values. Accept the chaos and build anyway." Nietzsche didn't believe in God, didn't believe in cosmic justice, didn't believe in objective morality, but he believed you could choose your own purpose and live as if it mattered. Not because it objectively does, but because the alternative is paralysis. He said, if there is no inherent meaning, then you are free to create any meaning you want. The death of God is not a tragedy, it's liberation. This is difficult. It requires strength, courage, the willingness to stand alone. Most people can't do it. They need external validation, objective meaning, cosmic approval. But for those who can, it offers a path. Camus said, "Embrace the absurd. Life is meaningless, and that's okay. Rebellion is living fully despite that, finding joy in the struggle itself." He used the myth of Sisyphus, a man condemned to push a boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll back down every time, forever. No progress, no achievement. Most people see this as ultimate torture. Camus saw it as ultimate freedom. Sisyphus knows the task is meaningless. He has no illusions. He pushes the boulder knowing it will roll back down. And yet, he pushes. And in that conscious choice to continue despite meaninglessness, he is free. Imagine Sisyphus happy, Camus wrote, not despite the absurdity, but because of it. Schopenhauer said, "Reduce desire. The less you want, the less you suffer. Detach, withdraw. Accept that satisfaction is temporary, that achievement is hollow, that nothing external will complete you. And instead of fighting this reality, withdraw from it. Reduce your participation. Let go of ambition, of attachment, of the need for things to be different." Each philosopher offers a path. None offers an exit, because there is no escape from consciousness, only different ways to live with it. You can distract yourself until you die. Many do. They stay busy, stay entertained, stay numb. And honestly, it works for them. They die having never faced the void. Maybe that's wisdom, not cowardice. You can face it and build meaning anyway. Accept the void, acknowledge the meaninglessness, and choose to create in spite of it. Not because it matters cosmically, but because you're here and you might as well. You can reduce your participation and observe. Withdraw, simplify, let go of desire systematically. Watch life like a movie you're no longer invested in. But you cannot undo awareness. Once the veil is lifted, you cannot unlift it. Once you've seen that meaning is constructed, that happiness is biochemical, that consciousness itself is the source of suffering, you can't unsee it. You can choose to believe anyway, you can choose to participate, but you'll always know it's a choice, and that knowledge changes everything. The game continues, but you know it's a game. The illusions may comfort you, but you know they're illusions. The meaning may guide you, but you know you wrote it yourself, and there's no going back to innocence. to believing without knowing you're believing. Consciousness is humanity's greatest mistake, not because it's evil, but because it's unnecessary for survival and incompatible with peace. A creature can live, reproduce, and die without ever being aware of it. Most do. Trees grow for hundreds of years without questioning their existence. They don't wonder if their growth has meaning. They don't fear the chainsaw. They just grow according to their nature until they don't. Dolphins swim and play and hunt without wondering if it means anything. They experience joy without analyzing it. They experience pain without replaying it. They simply exist until they die. Birds migrate thousands of miles without existential dread. They don't question whether the journey has purpose. They just fly. But we can't. We know we exist. We know we're aware. We know we're aware that we're aware. We know we suffer. We know others suffer. We know that all suffering is ultimately pointless, serving only evolutionary ends that we no longer care about. We know we'll die. We know everyone we love will die. We know that everything we build will crumble. We know the heat death of the universe will erase every trace of human existence. And we know that none of it has to mean anything. That meaning is optional, self-generated, a story we tell ourselves to make the burden lighter. This knowledge doesn't make life easier, it makes it heavier. You carry it behind your eyes everywhere you go. At parties, laughing with friends, knowing it's all temporary. At work, pursuing goals, knowing achievement is hollow. In moments of joy, tainted by the awareness that joy fades. But weight isn't the same as worthlessness. A heavy truth is still worth carrying. A burden you can't escape is still worth bearing. Well, you can carry the truth and still move forward. You can see through illusions and still choose to participate. You can accept meaninglessness and still build something beautiful. Not because it matters in the cosmic sense, not because the universe will remember, but because you're here. And while you are, you get to decide what you do with awareness. You can numb it, you can face it, you can create in spite of it, you can withdraw from it, you can make peace with it, you can rage against it. There's no right answer, no correct path, no solution that works for everyone, no philosophy that resolves the fundamental problem of consciousness. But you do have to choose, because consciousness doesn't go away. It doesn't fade with time. It just watches, endlessly. Witnessing you witnessing yourself, creating layer after layer of self-awareness that never reaches an endpoint, until it stops, until death finally ends the observation. And maybe that's the only real answer. Not a solution, but an ending. Consciousness begins at birth, it ends at death. In between, you carry it. How you carry it is up to you. Life did not promise meaning. Consciousness only revealed that fact. The question isn't how to be happy. Happiness is a neurochemical reaction, temporary by design, impossible to sustain. The question is, how much truth can you tolerate? How long can you look directly at the void before you have to look away? How heavy a burden can you carry while still moving forward? These are the only questions that matter. And the answers are different for everyone. Some people can tolerate very little truth. They need thick layers of illusion to function, and that's fine. That's not weakness, that's survival. Some people can tolerate more. They can see through some illusions while maintaining others. They can hold contradictions without breaking. A rare few can tolerate total clarity, can see it all, the meaninglessness, the randomness, the futility, and continue anyway. Not because they're stronger, but because something in them refuses to stop even knowing it's all pointless. Where you fall on that spectrum doesn't matter. What matters is knowing where you fall, and not lying to yourself about it. Consciousness is a mistake, but it's your mistake to carry.